When I was in high school, my art teacher told me in no uncertain terms that my art was not art, that it was not up to snuff, and that I needed to apply myself and learn the technical aspects of artistry. And you know what? I agree. My art did not fit his definition of art, and that's okay. Not everyone is going to love the things you make. If I had let him stop me in my tracks, I never would have learned the skills that I use to make digital art today. I'd like to think that my art teacher would be proud of the things that I'm making now. I'd like to think that he would see my progress and be proud of the improvements that I've made. Whether or not he would doesn't matter though, because I'm proud of the things that I'm making and get fulfillment out of the creative process. If you have the privilege to make something for fun, then do it for you. This won't quite be a normal devlog, as I'm sure you've picked up on by now. I'm out of town, and I will be for a little bit, so this devlog is meant to give you a bit of background on my background, and hopefully inspire you to pick up that dream project that you've been putting off. So welcome to the zeroth devlog for Gullywasher. I'm the Dev Foster Turtle. Gullywasher is a story-driven Metroidvania centered around a sparrow named Finch and her quest to uncover the secrets of her new home, the rain-soaked forest floors of Arava. Flashback to a little less than a year ago. The days are rolling by like the world is stuck in this year's newest Hollywood blockbuster time loop movie. It's my last official summer before I start my life as a real-life adult, and the days are floating past like the calendar pages in the opening title sequence of Phineas and Ferb. The thing is, I'm a bit of a homebody with a love for routine, so while that may seem miserable to you, it felt like a solid way to spend my summer. I'd wake up and knock out the same things every day. I'd go on a bike ride, play some Hollow Knight, and spend the evening with my parents. Over time, a strange thing started to happen to this introvert. My habits started to lose their appeal, and my interests started to leave me disinterested. I needed to switch some things up and try some new things out. So one morning, after binging one or two too many hours of YouTube, I impulse downloaded a game engine, and anytime I hit a wall, I turned to the internet to source intelligence from those more experienced than me. After a few too many hours in front of a computer, a missed bicycle ride, and a missed lunch, I stepped away from my computer, completely sucked into the world of game development. That evening, my YouTube binge was spent studying other devs, listening to their wisdom, and admiring their resourcefulness. The next day I got up, worked on my game, watched some other devs, and hit the sack, only to get up the next day and do it all over again. After about a week of work, I had a half-finished prototype and a realization that I needed to hone my craft a bit more before tackling a big project. The thing was, my first game was not good. And let me break some news to you that you may have already heard. Yours probably won't be either. And not only is that okay, it's great. You will learn far faster from your own mistakes than any tutorial you could ever watch on YouTube. And if your first project is amazing, I will very happily eat my words in support of it. After this realization, I stepped away from my game, and guided by the community of devs on YouTube, I made an itch.io account and dove into the world of game jams. Over the course of 3 months, I participated in as many game jams. If you're just getting started as a dev, I can't recommend game jams enough. They teach every stage of game development, from starting a game to debugging, to finishing and building a project, to receiving feedback and constructive criticism. Jams will help familiarize you with your engine and build a process for coding, art, and music. The community of devs who participate in jams is overwhelmingly positive and is one of the healthiest online communities I've ever been a part of. If you're remotely interested in game development, go join a jam and make something for the fun of it. No matter how the game turns out, you will have a finished game that you don't have today. You'll have experience that you didn't have yesterday, and you'll be one step closer to that dream project that you've been putting off. For me, game jams were a blast, but I always had a bigger project over my shoulder begging to be worked on. I've always been a storyteller at heart, and games afford a unique approach to story. Half of the reason that I fell in love with Hollow Knight is that it allows players to discover the story for themselves. If you miss a piece of it, you miss a piece of it. I respect the creators who have the confidence to allow people to miss things, the creators who allow their work to speak for itself and let the player choose how deep they want to dig and how engaged they want to stay. Juggling these ideas is what birthed Gullywasher. Tackling a Metroidvania is a huge task, but it's one that I'm super excited to try and start. By biting off small pieces and working on things incrementally, I'm hoping to slowly build out the world into something tangible. I hope to build it out into something that you can choose to dig deep into, or just dig a bit. Why do I love game development? I love game development because of how many outlets it affords me as a creator. I love game development because of how many different creative muscles it forces me to exercise. It has forced me to put in time and work to make my art better, my music more tonally appropriate, and my programming more efficient. If I ever get tired of one aspect of game development, there is always another side of it that I can sink my teeth into. If I don't feel like doing art, I can shift my focus and work on the code that drives my game, something that uses a completely different set of skills and works my brain in a completely different way. I genuinely hope that if you make it to the end of these devlogs and hear the tagline, "Stay positive, keep creating, and share your gifts with the world," it's more to you than just something that I say. I hope it makes you think about what you want to create and how you can achieve it. I know from my comments section and analytics that a decent number of you watching are also fellow devs. In the spirit of the end of my saying, share your gifts with the world, I want you to self-promote in the comments section. This is me, Foster, asking you to promote your devlogs and games in the comments of this video, and to check out each other's work. If you choose to leave something in the comments, make sure that you go and check out something that someone else has left. So genuinely and sincerely, from your fellow dev Foster, stay positive, keep creating, and share your gifts with the world.